It's part 2 of our Dreamcast Starter Pack special. So, as a reminder, last week we talked about modern gateways, exclusives, and showpiece games. So, you remember which games we played so far? We had Intrepid Easy, Rent a Hero number 1, Headhunter as modern gateways. As exclusives, we had D2, Toy Commander, and Metropolis Street Racer. There we go. And as showpiece games, we had Crazy Taxi, Seaman, and Shenmue. This week, we're focusing on multiplayer games that you should get in 2025 for your Dreamcast, and also some personal favorites that didn't really make it into other categories. And at the end, we have a very fun and interesting honorable mention section for games that didn't make it onto the other categories. So hope you enjoy part 2 of our Dreamcast Starter Pack special. Welcome to the Sega Lounge, where we celebrate our love for all things Sega, including the games, the music, and the community. I'm your host, KC. Join me as I talk to different guests and learn more about their projects and passion for Sega. 2 categories left. Number 4, multiplayer. Multiplayer. Okay, so these are games, obviously, you can play with friends. So let's mix things up a bit again, and I'll start with my pick, which is fairly obvious. And I'm actually going to share some Dreamcast channel footage here. Shout out to the Dreamcast channel of some of their game nights playing online, if I'm not mistaken. And so this actually, I think Choo Choo Rocket, which is my pick, is actually good for 2 things. First of all, it's a great multiplayer experience on the Dreamcast. As people know, many people got this with their what was it, Dream On, and the subscription, online subscription on the Dreamcast, and it's like a very crazy party game, puzzle game. Even in single player, it gets really crazy and addicting. But it also showcases the Dreamcast's online capabilities, which was something big at the time. I was trying to play the other day. I went to the multiplayer on online menu or whatever, and because I didn't have my Dreamcast connected to the internet, it showed up like a screen saying the best way to play Choo Choo Rocket is online. You can play with people from all over the world. It's like, which was something amazing at the time, right? Now we take it for granted, but this was one of the first times, or the iconic way to experience online multiplayer on the Dreamcast. So for that reason alone, it's an amazing way to get into online gaming on the Dreamcast. And obviously, we don't want to show ads here. And obviously, you can still connect your Dreamcast to the internet in 2025. There we go. Like Brian's European copy of Choo Choo Rocket. There we go. You can still connect.
There's loads of communities that can help you do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look up some of the tutorials online, and you can still experience not just Choo Choo Rocket, but other games online. But I believe out of all the ones that we have on our list, this is the one that has. I don't know if Brian's pick for multiplayer game has any online elements. I can't remember.
No, it doesn't.
No. So this is the one as well. So take this as a multiplayer recommendation, and also an online multiplayer recommendation. If you're not familiar with the game, the mechanics, you have to guide your little choo-choos, your mice, to rockets to escape from cats. It's that simple. You just like drop some arrows with like the 4 directions on the floor, on the tiles on the board, and you direct your mice. Simple, right? Not really, but
yeah. This is a good single player game. Like that's predominantly the way I've played it over the years. Is I've played it like with friends, in person. Obviously, you can play it online, and you can do 4-player couch multiplayer. But I really like the single player where you're just basically just solving the puzzles to get the mice to the rocket, and it's just really relaxing and chill. And definitely recommended.
Yeah. This is not relaxing and chill.
No,
like
not at all.
We're looking at now, like the multiplayer gets really chaotic. And then these random roulette sections that like they slow down or they speed up, or then there's more like cats than there should be, like this cat mania. So this also brings like a chaotic element to the game, which is really cool. Really cool. As a party game, definitely one you should experience. Yeah. Okay. Brian, what's your pick?
So this is another game that actually we would play it back to back with when I would have friends over, and we'd play, of course, Shoot Your Rocket, but also, I don't actually have it here. But I think I just have the Japanese and US or North American version somewhere. I don't have it on PAL. I thought I did, but Pen Pen Triathlon. And so this was a Japanese launch game originally, and it was a North American and PAL launch game as well. It came out very early. And it was a very simple game. It's also a bit chaotic, not in the same way, maybe a little more leisurely in its chaos, but it's a racing game of sorts where you control one of several, what do you call them, like hybrid animal penguin creatures. So they're all like mixed. Yeah, they're abominations, basically. So it's like a penguin breeds with a shark, or an octopus, as we're seeing with these guys, or hippo. I mean, it's something. But it's also a very fun game. It's it's very simple, maybe kind of in the mold of like Kirby Air Ride for people who are maybe interested in that that style of racing game. But every course is broken up into segments where you either slide, where you go a little bit faster, a belly slide. You can swim through water areas. You waddle through areas as well. And so it is a triathlon, I guess, or triathlon of those 3 activities that you do in each course. And this is a very bright and vibrant and silly and a little weird game, and I think it's a blast to play because it does have 4-player split screen, so it's a great couch multiplayer game, especially if everybody is on the same wavelength, as far as if nobody's played it before and you all play it together, you're gonna have a great time, because there's a bit of a learning curve for as simple as it is, but it is still easy-ish to get the hang of. And there's a lot of bottleneck segments where things really do get chaotic with some of the course obstacles and narrow corridors where you're just bumping into each other. You do have the ability to slam into other pens, and so it's just it can get very chaotic. I would say if you like own the game and you get good at it, but then you have friends over who are not, I've found it helps to just like give everybody a 30-second head start or 25-second head start or something, and then just go, because everybody's just going to be crashing into stuff all over until you get a hang of kind of how the physics and everything is on ice, so it handles appropriately with a lot of skidding around and just getting the stroke timing for the swimming and all of that. There's a bit of a learning curve, but it is a very simple game, and I think it's a delightful one. So I would definitely recommend it. You're not going to play it all the time, but for the half hour that you spend with friends every now and then, waddling through it, it's going to be a good time. Hopefully, it was for us.
I think so. Never played this in multiplayer, but definitely feels like you'd have a good time, especially if everyone's on the same level. Like, and I think it's easy to just forget how to maneuver through this game. So if you just like, if you want to play with friends, just like forget about the game, put it on the shelf, and then just pick it up again when they're over, and you'll all be on the same level, and it's going to be chaotic as well. Like, so as you can see, it's chaotic and just like try to control the pens. So yeah, seems like a fun experience with friends. Yeah. Any thoughts, Lewis, on this?
I actually only got this game I got it on my birthday because on my birthday I tend to go into a game shop in York and I'll grab myself a Dreamcast game, and Brian had been telling me about this not too close to when I went, so I
sore
only
thumbs.
Yeah, sore thumbs. Yeah, so I bought this game, and I'm still yet to play it. As is the curse of collectors, things just go on the shelf and get dusty. But I will definitely. I'm not going to comment on some of the gameplay, but anyway.
Please don't.
Yeah,
go easy on me.
Okay. Like I said, there's a learning curve.
There is, yeah.
It looks right up my alley, though. It is just ridiculous, isn't it? So it's definitely something I will enjoy at some point soon.
Oh, and the soundtrack is absurd as well. Like, I love it. It's just maybe not infectious is the right word, but it is bold. It's a bit boisterous and a bit catchy, and just it suits the rest of the weird vibe of the whole game. It's just kind of in your face, and so maybe just playing it a little bit at a time is probably how I recommend it anyway.
I think it's the perfect party game. Feels like that, for sure. The perfect party game. Okay, so our final multiplayer game, Lewis, you picked.
I picked Power Stone 2, which I mentioned earlier. I know everyone loves Power Stone 1 more. I think Power Stone 1 is a better game if you want some serious two-player fighting. Not too serious. It's not like the same as Street Fighter or something, but Power Stone 2 is so much more accessible. The combos have taken a back seat. It's a lot more focus on crazy weapons and getting the power stones to get your sort of superhero ability and wipe everyone off the map. And obviously the big difference with the second one is that 4 people can play it. And again, kind of like with what Brian was saying about Pen, I just find the moving stages, as opposed to just these sort of static arenas, just so much more exciting and chaotic. And just an example, when I'm playing it with friends, there's this one stage where you're in a temple, and there's this section between the first area and the second area where you're running away Indiana Jones style from a boulder, and you can pick up a bear trap and throw it at your friend, and they get stuck, and then the boulder hits them, and loads of little things where you just kind of going, oh, what'd you do that for, and having a go at each other and just getting really into it. And like this where you're trying to get an umbrella
fall.
But you can
skydiving section.
You can whack your opponents or steal the umbrella from them, and it's the perfect multiplayer party game. And I liken it quite often to Smash Brothers. I think this is as close as you're probably going to get to Smash Brothers on the Dreamcast, and in the same vein, it's just a blast to play. And then the other thing that's cool is that you can play the arcade together, like the arcade mode. It has boss battles, and in that one, if I recall, only 2 people can make it to the end. So I think even if you start it as a 4-player thing, only 2 of you can actually make it to the final boss, I think, if I recall. But Yeah, the amount of times I've spent playing this game with my friends, as a kid, then I got it again when I was around college age, and all my friends would come around and we'd play Power Stone 2. And this is the game they associate with me. It's like, oh, Lewis wants us to play Power Stone 2 again. But all my friends loved it. They all had their specific characters that they'd play as. It's an absolute blast. And yeah, a lot of people kind of prefer the first because, like I say, static arenas, whereas these are everything's moving, and I think people find it quite jarring. But I think once you're used to how it plays, it's I've had friends who have never owned this game. They played like one level of it, and then the next level they're absolutely destroying me at it, and I've owned this game for years. So it's so easy to pick up and a lot of fun, and definitely recommended.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, nothing to add. I think this is not really. I'm not really that familiar with this game, but I played what you're seeing actually to record footage, and I really like the dynamic stages and stuff. I really like that, like the different sections in between parts of the stage. That's really cool. Yeah, looks like something that would be great to play with friends for sure. I'm not sure if this one is is available for modern systems. I know the first one is.
It Can't is remember. Recently, actually, they've just put it out. Capcom, is it Capcom Fighting Collection 2?
Does it include? Oh, yeah, it does. Yes, it is. Yes.
The craziest part is as well, it has online, so you can.
That's what I was. Yes, that's why I was asking, because I feel like this would be great to play online.
Yeah. In Japan, when it was first out on Dreamcast, there was an online mode, and obviously it is something that maybe one day they could put back online on Dreamcast, but unfortunately, I think I don't want to don't quote me, but I think quite a lot of the those games need to find someone who had the I don't know what you call it, like you download data to play it online. They need to find someone who has like that saved somewhere, and some of these games are kind of an impossible task to actually get back online. But I'm sure they will.
Yeah. And by the way, Capcom Fighting Collection 2 has both Power Stone 1 and 2 in it. So yeah, if that's another way to play it, but do experience the Dreamcast version, because that's what we're talking about here. As our starter pack. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's certainly a cheaper way to play it. For
sure.
Yeah, Power Stone 2 is quite a pricey game, especially in America.
Yeah. Well, and the collection too has does have SNK, Capcom versus SNK.
Yeah.
And
Rival Schools.
The Rival Schools game.
Plasma Sword.
Street
Fighter Alpha 3. Yeah,
Capcom have been really good at making sure their games are accessible. I've noticed.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that leaves us with our final category, personal favorites. So this is where everything goes, right? So we had somewhat like restrictive criteria, not really, but for the first 4 categories, but now. We're just going with the games that we really like, and we really want to recommend people when they get their new Dreamcast in 2025. So let's go back to maybe the original order. So Lewis, would you like to tell us what your personal favorite is on that list?
Yeah, I think this is sort of in a similar vein to Brian's Rent a Hero pick. Again, another English fan translation, and another kind of quirky, fun game, and that is Napple Tale, which is a Japanese exclusive platformer that was quite cool. Actually, it was developed by a predominantly female development team, and it basically kind of like the plot of Spirited Away. I know that's kind of a thing they have in quite a few stories in Japan, and this girl basically gets whisked off to this. Sounds kind of morbid, but it's kind of like purgatory, basically. And that's where where it takes place. This kind of town where spirits kind of are dwelling between live, passing on. Yeah, so it makes it sound really morbid, but it's not. It's very colourful and whimsical, and a lot of the gameplay is kind of exploring the town and talking to the residents, and you do little quests for them. And then the main kind of way to kind of push the story along is, as you can see in the gameplay footage, is this kind of 3D side-scrolling gameplay. So you've got a combination of the two, and it is just truly a delight to play. Has one of the best soundtracks of any Dreamcast game. And the translators, the fan translators who did Cargo did a translation of this, and what they did is just fantastic. I think like the tutorial is just a great showcase of it, where the jester who's kind of teaching you things speaks in rhyme, and they've full on translated it in a way that kind of keeps his instructions in that rhyming pattern. And it is really great. And I feel like it has that kind of modern cozy thing that everyone keeps going on about, in the games like Animal Crossing, where you're doing little errands for people. In this, you do little errands where you're helping people in some cases, but then maybe someone will say, can you make an item for the town? Like I remember one where, can you make lights for the town at night, so people can see when it's nighttime. So you collect little items on your quests and you put them together to make these items for people. And I don't know, it just feels really great when you play it. Like it feels happy and jolly. And like I say, the when I was trying to explain the actual plot of it, it makes it sound maybe not so much, but it's got a lot of heart, and I would recommend it. And I'm so glad that we can finally play it in English.
Yeah, I do agree. Like the themes in the game are dark, but the game is not dark at all. But it's actually quite funny how they mix these two like vibes together. But it's definitely the vibe, the overall vibe of the game is like warm and fuzzy and happy. So it's a delight to play, I think. Yeah, definitely a good pick here. Yeah.
Brian, you played it, didn't you? Was it not too long ago?
Yeah, it was like around the holidays or Christmas time last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a thoroughly endearing game. I actually don't think I've laughed out loud as much for any other game, like with the dialogue. It's just
great, yeah.
It's just brilliantly written as they localized it. Like it's, oh my God, they did a fantastic job, because I know a lot of that, the puns and the rhymes and some of that humor, I can't imagine it was in the original Japanese version. I just can't visualize it, but the way they fit it, as you were mentioning, into the context of what was happening, while making it just incredibly, there is some dark humor there too, but oh my God, it's brilliant. I just don't really have a ton to add beyond what you said, but man, I can't recommend it enough. Great pick.
Mm-hmm. I think it's great that it's on this list as well, because it's got a lot going on for it. Like you said, Lewis, it's like a cozy feeling game as well, but it's also a platformer, and we don't really have much of that in this list. Maybe Intrepid Izzy is the closest to a platformer game we have here, but it's more of a Metroidvania. It kind of reminds me of Pandemonium on the Saturn and the PlayStation,
I see what you mean.
The action sequences,
the platforming sequences, Clockwork Knight in a way as well, but I think more of Pandemonium, and like the weird vibe of the enemies and your character and stuff, the way that people are dressed, or the creatures are dressed as well, and like the different designs. It's really got a weird vibe going.
The character, the mayor of the town, is called Mayor Frogcar.
Yes,
and he is literally what his name is. He is a frog in a car, and that's how he gets around.
Yeah.
I think like when you meet him, he's literally like, help, I'm stuck on a curb or something.
Yeah, definitely a great one to for people to experience. Yeah, and again, the quirkiness of Dreamcast games and like the Japanese vibes of the system and how different things Sega was trying at the time. It's really, really cool game to experience that. Yeah, great pick. Yeah. Okay, Brian, what about your personal favorite?
Well, this is one that I think I've spilled a lot of ink on the Junkyard blog, even though I don't write blog posts very often, maybe like one a year. At least half of them have been dedicated to this game in some sense. And same with podcasts. I think I try to bring it up as often as I can. Yeah. But that would be Blue Stinger. An all-timer for me personally.
Want to show that again, please? Sorry.
Yeah. It's an all-timer for me personally, but not necessarily a game I would recommend to everybody. But it is a game I would recommend to very specific people who might be charmed by the same things that I find charming about it. It's a bit of a, and again, this is so this was developed by Climax Graphics, and Shinya Nishigaki was the producer and director. He's passed away now, but he is he originally, I think he did a lot of other stuff with Climax, which Climax Graphics kind of split out of. So I think he was a scenario or map designer on Landstalker, as well as Dark Savior for the Saturn. Anyway, but this game is definitely a amalgamation of B-movie kind of Hollywood blockbuster. It's like a weird combination of the two. It's trying to be a big, boisterous action movie, yet dialogue-wise, character-wise, moment to moment, it has just very B-movie sensibilities that just give it a ton of charm. I think it was unfortunately lumped into the survival horror category as it launched, and so I think all the reviewers at the time pretty much just compared it to Silent Hill and Resident Evil, and that is an unfavorable comparison, to be fair. I think I would say it's more of kind of an adventure action sort of game, maybe even a beat 'em up, because the combat, like, there's not really any scarcity in the same way that you would have with a traditional survival horror game. And I think that's a very important element of what makes that genre, is the fact that you just can't do anything all the time, or do everything all the time. And Blue Stinger is the opposite. Like, you can stock up on ammo. Money is pretty much infinite, and you buy all of your weapons and ammo and power-ups and other, and healing items. They all come from vending machines. So your Hassie energy drinks, hot dogs, those will replenish your health.
There we go. Wait.
Yeah, you can buy lightsabers. There we go.
That's my mouse mat, by the way.
You can buy lightsabers.
A Hassie mouse mat, by the way, for listeners. Yeah.
Stun Prod is a personal favorite. So you have all of these weapons that you can get pretty early in the game: napalm launchers, rocket launchers, rail guns, whatever. Kung Fu t-shirts. There's just there's a big mix of whimsy jumbled in there. And honestly, I just think it's just a silly, really endearing game to play, even if it is probably the jankiest game that we're going to mention today. So, if you're looking for a traditionally polished experience, it's not going to be that, but I think it's an example of a game that is so charming that the other stuff doesn't really matter that much. Honestly, I think when a game resonates in such a way that I hate the old rubrics of like fun factor and replayability and controls and difficulty, and like I think gaming journalism back in the day really failed us as far as traditional reviews, having to all like tick all these boxes, and if they don't, like if the soundtrack's not great, then it gets a 9 instead of a 10, and it's like, but everything else is good. It's like I don't know. I think the checkbox system that dominated how reviews were when we grew up is just profoundly flawed and boring, and it does not do a game like Blue Stinger justice, because it is a terribly flawed game in itself, and I love it to death. I just, I can't really, and so if you're into like, I just don't know who to recommend it to. I just think everybody should play it, and it's going to resonate with some people and not others. And you just don't know. You're just not going to know. So just play it and see how it goes.
I think if you like kind of if you're the kind of person who laughs at the Resident Evil, you were almost a Jill Sandwich kind of cutscenes, you probably quite like Blue Stinger. It's very, like you say, it's very B movie. You could like something like that film, The Room. It has that kind of awkwardness to it, and it's also, I think, my favorite kind of thing I say about this is it's just such a whiplashy game. Like just the things it throws at you, and the fact that there's a Christmas, it's at Christmas, and there's like a mall that you go through, and there's just things everywhere. It's like, it's just, it's tonally just completely a mess, but it's amazing. And I totally get why, Brian loves it. The thing is, as well, is it is janky, but it's not. As long as you know what to do, like for one of the things I'd recommend is you get is it the bat, the metal bat? As long as you get that weapon early on, it isn't that much of a headache to play, and you can kind of enjoy the silliness of it. It's I think if it was kind of, like I say, mega B movie and then played really horrendously, we'd probably be having a different conversation. But I think it's good fun.
Well, we probably wouldn't. Yeah, we probably wouldn't be having a conversation.
Would it be? Would it be on this list?
Yeah. One thing I will also. Sorry. Just as a quick caveat, I do recommend not getting this version. I mean, this version is fine. It's great. It's probably a bit more expensive now, so that's. And then same with the North American one. But the Japanese one is the one I'd really go for, because A, it's cheaper, but B, it's an interesting case study in how publishers kind of finesse or redefine, would pressure a developer to change a project or a game very drastically. So the original version, which came out several months before the Western ones in Japan, so the Japanese version had a very different camera system, amid a lot of other differences, but the camera system was the main thing, and it was almost a different genre, kind of. I mean, they were all of the camera shots and were very intentional. They were setting the scene in certain ways, so I think the environment became more of a character in a sense. It kind of showed what you wanted to show, and there was some challenges with that, where enemies would appear around a corner and you would have no way of seeing them because the camera just wasn't going to let you. I think that was part of the charm. But Activision, when they took on publishing duties for the West, pretty much pressured Climax Graphics to retool the camera to be more of a behind the back, action oriented sort of setup, which I get conceptually. I think conceptually that was the right call, because it's an action game at heart. It's not a survival horror, or really, it is cinematic, but not in a serious way necessarily. But it just, the way it was implemented was necessarily rushed, because they only had a few months to do it, and I don't think it plays quite as well on PAL or North American version. So definitely go for that Japanese version, or download the Japanese version if you find it.
Okay.
So sorry, Casey. I just want to say that.
It's cool. Yeah, I was just gonna say that I'm planning on playing this game, so I'm taking a few weeks off actually, and because I actually promised Dom, Dreamcast enjoyer, that we'd do a special episode of the show about Blue Stinger. So maybe you'll need to join us for that as well, Brian.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant game.
Because it's a game that I started playing, I think, a couple of times before, but never really saw it through. And I enjoyed what I was playing until that point. So I think I need to sit down with it, take some time, and like also then put my thoughts into words. And maybe I'll be a big fan of it as well. So maybe it's like Shenmue and Blue Stinger. Yeah, the two games that I'll always gush about on this show.
But again, no pressure. Like, honestly, this is not a game I expect everybody to love. So it's, if you are bothered by certain aspects of it you can't get over, or it's just not hitting, I mean, not gonna blame you for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it has Dog's Bower in it, Brian. How can it not be a game that people love?
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I'll say.
I stand corrected. If you don't love this game, Casey, there is something very wrong.
That's very wrong with me. Yes, and there is, but I'm not sure that's why.
This may not be the reason.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. So my personal favorite here on this list. So this is game number 15. To round this off, is a game that I thought we really needed to include in this on this list, because I mean we actually did a special episode about this game not so long ago, and I didn't really record new footage, so I'm gonna just shamelessly plug that episode that we did about Jet Set Radio, right? So and we loungeception here with Jet Set Radio is a game that I don't think we need to spend too much time talking about. It really is one of the games that I also, when I think Dreamcast, I think Jet Set Radio. Oh, look at those lovely chaps there. But I do think it's like also, and we talked about this about many games that we mentioned on this list, but it's got that like Dreamcast feel, the aesthetic, the soundtrack, the gameplay, the whole setting of the action, like this version of Tokyo. Like the skating, the graffiti, all of that, the rudiness of it as well, the rebellious
the
nature,
cool factor,
the cool factor, right? So I do feel like it wouldn't be fair to not include this game, to skip this game as one of those essential games in your starter pack. So I think everyone owes it to themselves to experience this. I do think, and I think I mentioned this during the 25th anniversary special, I do feel like the Dreamcast controller is the best way to control this game, right? I think we mentioned that.
Absolutely.
So, and so for that reason alone, even though this game is available elsewhere, you can play it on Steam, you can get it on like XBLA, PlayStation Store, stuff like that.
Or is it? I think it got delisted.
Oh, is it one of those that got delisted recently?
Yeah, I think it did.
I think it's still available on Steam. No, I can't remember.
Probably want to check, but I remember I have it on Xbox.
Oh no, it's
One.
not. Yeah. It's been delisted. Yeah, on Steam as well. Yeah, that's true.
Even before that, it was hard to get. I have it on Xbox One, but it was like you couldn't get it in the Xbox One store if you went on the console. You had to like find the page online and then buy it through there.
Yeah, the 360 store stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this is another game a bit like Shenmue, where when I bought it and played it originally, it was an exclusive on Dreamcast, and again now we it's delisted. maybe that's the only way you can play it.
It's an exclusive
sadly.
after all. So
Yeah.
let me just check if it probably got delisted on phone apps as well, on app stores. Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
You can't play it anymore.
I think that one was probably first, I imagine.
Probably, yeah. This was one of those that like got delisted December last year. They delisted everything. This was one of them. Yeah.
Just any game that Sega made that's good, they delisted it.
Ouch. Burn. Yeah. But definitely Jet Set Radio, something to experience at least once. And I think it's like, and again, that arcadey feel, that like, it's just a game that you can play. I do it all the time. Just like pick it up, play it a little bit, like come back to it like a few months later. It just like, it's instant, connects instantly. And it's very replayable, right? You can like just keep going. It repeats the story. You can unlock other characters. You can go for the high scores and stuff, the better times. Yeah, just something that's very satisfactory to play.
That's another one that's coming. It's getting a new entry, isn't it? So
yeah,
potentially, if you're new to Jet Set Radio and you've played in the future, if you've played that version and for some reason you're listening to this way in the future, because it's never coming out, let's face it. No, it's going to come out in like 4 or 5 years. It just seems like they keep delaying it, doesn't it? But yeah, if you're listening to this podcast way in the future, the Jet Set Radio future, then you should play the original because it's great, and all of its sequels. Anyway, ignore me.
Yeah,
my brain's melting.
And the Game Boy Advance version as well. No, don't.
Oh yeah, of course.
Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, and if you want to know more about Jet Set Radio, just check out our 25th anniversary special, episode 260 of the Sega Lounge. By the way,
that's a very hip episode for sure.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Okay, and that's our list of 15 as our starter pack for the Dreamcast in 2025. However, I'm gonna defer to Brian for this final segment of the episode because we missed a lot of games, haven't we, guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we
well, I'm sure we're getting comments left and right.
Yeah. So hold off on the comments for now because we have some honorable mentions. But Brian, would you like to take it away?
Yeah. I guess you could call them honorable mentions, and we're going to try to keep these ones very brief. This will be a lightning round of sorts. And the impetus of this is that like there's just no one size fits all, of course. And so in a real ideal world, we would record an episode of this for each and every listener as we get to know what their likes and their interests and preferences are, and we can really tailor some of these very specific these games to those specific sensibilities. So with that in mind, I'm going to list a few types of video game players who definitely exist out there, and we're just going to go around the table and recommend a Dreamcast game for each of them to try. So I'll give you a bit of information about who that person is, and then you'll just say, I'll ask like, what game would you recommend to that audience? And then if we want, you can follow up with just a brief elevator pitch of why you'd recommend that game. So let's start with you, Lewis. What game would you recommend to 2D fighting game fans who want to be taken for a ride?
That would be Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Yeah. Because of the music. Nice. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And the gameplay. And that just, again, brain melting, but that is the like top rated fighting game that like for a lot of people, and it's one that's only just been re-released on modern systems, but for years people were clamoring for please re-release Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I don't even think they've managed to top it in that series. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best fighting games on the system, if not the best, depending on your style of fighting game.
Nice. Mm-hmm. All right, well, Casey, this we'll still try to keep these reasonably simple, maybe a bit broad. So what game would you recommend to ravers who wish they could play Panzer Dragoon while vibing in the club?
Yeah.
What game would you recommend for those people?
I would probably go with Raz for that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, like an on-rails shooter with an amazing soundtrack. You definitely can rave to in the club. Yeah.
Brilliant. I guess I'll go with this one. So a game I would recommend to I guess fans of racing games who persistently suffer from insomnia. For those people, I would recommend actually Le Mans 24 Hours. And in addition to just being an incredible video game, it is my favorite racing game on the system, bar none. I just love it. It has a mode where you can literally play through the entire 24-hour continuous race of Le Mans in real time. You can just stay up for 24 hours doing that. You don't have to, but you can. You can still save at the pits and resume it later. But if you are an insomniac like me, it's kind of a perfect game for you. So let's go on to the next one. Casey, what game would you recommend to people who are fans of the Jetsons and rhythm games, and also Michael Jackson, and may or may not have dropped out of journalism school? With somebody, what's a game you might recommend to that person?
I'm glad you're recognizing that segment of the market there. Like, not many people do remember these gamers, so shout out to them. Probably Space Channel 5 would tick all the boxes there. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, very specific, but yeah, for sure.
Sega just knew their niche, didn't they? Holy
Exactly.
cow. That's impressive. Wow. All right. Well, cool. So, Lewis, next one's for you. I'd be curious, what game would you recommend to people who might enjoy the MMO shooter Destiny, but wish it was a lot slower and maybe in third person because they get motion sick when they play first-person shooters for too long. And they also just like games that are based in space. What's a game that you might recommend to that person?
Is this Star Lancer? Because
no, it's not. That's mine.
Are they fans of Big
this
Bird
one maybe
from
isn't
Sesame Street?
Yes,
well?
Yeah, but only miniature versions.
Miniature, like Small Bird. Then, like if Big Bird was,
but
a
ones
small
that they
bird.
have to, but ones that they have to, be able to shoot and get items.
Yeah,
are we talking about PSO, Fantasy Star Online? I'm struggling here, guys.
Are we? Yeah. No. You tell us. What game is that? What you'd recommend to those people who want to shoot Big Bird and play an MMO? Yeah.
Yeah, Fantasy
Star
Online is an MMO. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like PSO is probably a good choice there.
Yeah, I forgot that you said MMO and then you said space. And I was like, oh, Star Lancer. But actually, for a point, I was thinking you were talking about Owl Trigger for some reason. Anyway, come on, move on from
that.
me.
Wasn't on our list. Yeah.
A very specific niche there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess these three do kind of share the theme of that they're intergalactic. So the next one is one that I will recommend, although it was a bit spoiled. But yeah, for fans of 3D space shooters who yearn to play PC abandonware, specifically on a Dreamcast, it would have to be Star Lancer. Like, it really, really would. I think it's just an incredible game. It's a good example of some of the PC conversions because there were so many on the Dreamcast. But this one, I think Warthog and Digital Anvil just took immense care to carry over, especially how the game looks and feels. They did a fantastic job, or at least as good as well as they could, taking a fairly complex control set and moving it to a Dreamcast controller with very few buttons, relatively. But it just feels good to play as a mission-based shooter, which the missions get more intense as you go. Definitely underrated. Highly recommend for anybody who's into PC abandonware on the Dreamcast.
I'm going to say, sorry, definitely very highly rated one as well. I was looking at Metacritic, Dreamcast scores, 195, 94, 90, 90, 90. So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, I put it up there. I think it's an amazing game. All right. Well, next one is for you, Casey. What game would you recommend specifically to Tim Henman? Whenever he's feeling wistful about his glory days, back when he would knock down bowling pins on the tennis court, or when he'd volley bombs around. When he's feeling a little nostalgic, what's a game you might recommend to Tim Henman?
Oh, Timmy, my boy. I think you should play Virtua Tennis. If you're watching this, Tim, yeah, definitely play Virtua Tennis. Not if, of course you are. Yeah. Shout out to Tim. Definitely. And the mini games in Virtua Tennis are epic. So yeah, definitely play Virtua Tennis for that. Yeah.
All right, Lewis. I hope this is specific enough. Keep in mind, we already mentioned Seaman, so it is not Seaman. But what game would you recommend to Charles Darwin if he got really into Tamagotchi? Like, if he just was like obsessed with Tamagotchi, what would you recommend to Charles Darwin in that scenario? It's a game.
Would we go?
You just
with
like to vibe. You
Lack
just like
of
to
Love?
vibe. Oh, good one.
Or
That's
LOL.
sounds-
Yeah. Lack of Love is definitely recommended for people who like a very cerebral experience, because it doesn't hold your hand, but it is very, I don't know, it's just deep, dude. You kind of have to play it to believe it. That's all I'll say.
nice, intriguing. And then one I'll recommend is specifically for someone like Marty McFly. If he accidentally traveled to like a post World War III future, and instead of doing anything to help, he just kind of decided to screw off and race hoverboards the whole time. For Marty McFly in that scenario, I would have to recommend the video game Trick Style, which is another one of my favorite underappreciated racing games on the Dreamcast. I would specifically recommend the PAL version because it is it's compatible with VGA in a way that the North American version didn't have that code in it and wasn't. Although maybe you can brute force it and it's fine. I don't know. But yeah, Trick Style. Love the hoverboards. I think they feel great. It's an amazing game. Simple game, but man, I love it. All right, now we're going to get into some iconic heavy hitters here. And so, Casey, let's go back to you. What game would you recommend to people who enjoy turn-based RPGs, say, but they would like them even more if they could fly pirate ships around or plunder treasure specifically from VMU mini games?
Okay.
What would you recommend to that person?
Again, a very meaty segment of the gamer market these days. Skies of Arcadia would probably be my recommendation for those people. Yeah, you know who you are out there.
That one has pirate ships, right? That one has all that stuff.
It has space Sky Pirates as well. So yeah, definitely.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds great. Sounds right up their alley. All right, Lewis. So what's a game that you would recommend to fans of survival horror games that feature villains that might be, I don't know, a bit creepy, a bit nepo trust fund kids, maybe even a little incestuous? What would you recommend to somebody who wants a game that has that kind of villain in it in a survival horror game?
I mean, that demographic must be a big portion of Japanese gamers, because this was the best-selling Japanese Dreamcast game. It is Resident Evil Code Veronica. There you go. That is still hasn't been remade. So if you want to play if you want to play this game, the Dreamcast one is the way to go, or
Nice.
one of the many other ports. Yeah,
Nice.
It's very hard as well. So not for those with Anyway,
definitely stock up on those herbs. Yeah, those compound herbs. Yeah. All right. Well, so the final game that I will personally recommend is probably to non-gamer friends of mine who theoretically enjoy rhythm games and music games, but only after they've had a few shots of tequila. So very specifically in that scenario, and I got to go with Samba de Amigo for them. I think it's a perfect game, and that is the exact scenario that I would have my non-gamer friends play. And the first time we did it, it became kind of a hit. So that's just kind of a tradition for us to play that at least once a year, at least when I'm on the same continent where they are. So yeah, it's Samba de Amigo is a good one. All right, well, let's close out. I think this is our last pick. Lewis, this could be multiple games. There might be a few that kind of fit this niche, but what would you recommend for people who want to trick their cousins into thinking there's a real life basketball or American football game happening on the TV when in actuality you're playing a video game instead? And then when she asks, "Oh, who's playing?" 14-year-old you can reply, "I am playing." In a conniving, shit-eating grin. So, what are some games maybe you might recommend to somebody in that situation?
That would be the 2K series, NBA 2K, NFL 2K. There's also NHL 2K.
Yeah.
And that is a massive, what would it be, multi-million, billion-dollar series now. That got its start on the Dreamcast and was a pretty heavy contender for, pretty heavy rival against EA. In fact, it kind of, what's the phrase, the word, usurped their entries. I don't even think usurped. Yeah. I don't even think they don't even do an NBA game anymore, EA, because
right.
Yeah. But Sega were way they were gone by the time that the series saw, much success.
Yeah. It was interesting. The NFL 2 games in fact, NFL 2K, I keep playing now because it's getting in the NFL season, so that's kind of a ritual. But particularly NFL 2K5 for Xbox and PS2, that is just such a fantastic. That's like the pinnacle of American football games to me, and it was just kind of crappy how EA when they well, to be fair, Sega had a very aggressive play to charge $20 for that game back in 2024, and so they undercut sales of Madden at the time enough that EA was like, we can't have this. We're buying out the rights or acquiring exclusive rights to make NFL video games, and nobody's going to do that again. And they've kept renewing it at every opportunity. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get any more NFL 2K games, even as NBA 2K continues to go strong.
So that's the only one they're doing right now, right? It's NBA.
I think that was because NHL 2K, they did keep going for a while, but I think that fizzled out.
They had is it World Series Baseball?
World Series Baseball, specifically 2K2 is the one I would recommend on Dreamcast. I think the best one happened maybe like a year later on the Xbox, which was just World Series Baseball. It was like the following year. I think that it was the most improved when Visual Concepts kind of took it over. But the first one on Dreamcast, World Series Baseball 2K1, kind of a garbage game. I would not recommend it. But it was also not Visual Concepts. VC wasn't involved until they realized that it was bad enough that they kind of had to be for the next iteration. So,
but those sports games are like the best sellers in America. Like their top 10.
They're very
Yeah.
It was mostly those sports games. They loved them. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
fun fact: Virtua Tennis 2.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I was just going to say.
Yeah, a 2K game in a way. It was known as Virtua Tennis 2K2, right?
Yeah,
in North America. Or tennis.
Horrible rebrand, but also interesting.
Yeah, but it made sense if you think about it. Probably, I think Virtua as a brand for me was a more powerful brand as a Sega fan, but like for a sports fan who was into all the other NBA, NHL, NFL, 2K was probably the biggest brand. So yeah,
I think
it
as
was
a
a smart move.
I think as a person who talks about Dreamcast stuff online and writes articles and goes on podcasts, stuff like that really irks me, because it's like I just hope that if say we tweet about Virtua Tennis, I just hope there's not like that one guy who never realized that Tennis 2K2 is Virtua Tennis 2, and then one day he's like, wow, I didn't know it had a different name. But for all those posts, they're just completely going over their heads. Stuff like that like bugs me.
I didn't know there was a Virtua Tennis 2 game.
Yeah.
I only played Virtua Tennis and Tennis 2K2.
Yeah. Well, I guess you don't get to pick how you're marketed to. So like,
Yeah,
if you don't know it, you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. It's actually Virtua Tennis 2K2 or Virtua Tennis 2. I was very close to putting on my recommendations. I think it's a stellar game.
Yeah. I think a Virtua Tennis game was a must, even as an honorable mention. One of my favorites as well. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the first one, of course, is great.
And again, yeah. So for nostalgic reasons only, it's like Virtua Tennis was my jam. I know Virtua Tennis 2, as is often the case, is probably the best one. But yeah, nostalgia. But as we said before, so many games we didn't include here on this list, on the honorable mentions list as well. Sonic Adventure, for example, we didn't include a Sonic Adventure game here. We talked about them, about the game at the beginning. Soul Calibur didn't make it, but obviously mentions should be mentioned as well as big games here as well. But that said, sound off in the comments if you think we missed some very big games that we didn't really mention here. What were our most horrible omissions? Let us know in the comments. And oh my God, how could you? How could you?
I mean, I don't know if we have to get that clickbaity over it. I think we can just say what are your formative introductions to Dreamcast.
People like to rage about things. People like to hate on things. So, yeah.
The thing is, if someone said to me like, "Why'd you miss out that game?" I'd say, "Well, that's a good game. Play that as well." So
yeah,
just play whatever you want on the Dreamcast. It's got a great catalog, and this goes to show that as well, right? Having a hard time coming up with like not talking about specific games just goes to show that it has a great catalog of games. So
I think also
and
it's
even
like good
indie
to,
games.
I think we talked about a few kind of like I don't know, the term hidden gems is kind of like being killed online, but like we've talked about a few more not lesser known games, and I think that's important as well. Go look up like IGN's top Dreamcast games, although don't, because I don't even think they put Shenmue, and then they wrote this like really obnoxious article about why it wasn't included. I don't know if you remember that, but obviously check out the kind of like lists you see everywhere, but then this is our list.
Yeah,
we set the rules.
Well, we also only have variety. So much time. I think that's what we were going for. Variety that ticks a lot of the sort of the criterion boxes of like, ones that are accessible to people in, who like modern games or indie games, or I think there's a lot of stuff in hindsight that we can elevate or try to elevate for people who might like those games that they just didn't get a lot of attention early on or weren't as critically acclaimed. So, and then also that we only had so much time to record this, right? Like we're pushing 3 hours almost. Like this is very long.
We'll see if this gets the honor of being split into 2 episodes. We'll see. But
I guess for people.
Whatever's the case, maybe because this is a starter pack, so maybe we can actually do a sequel episode to this. So maybe next year we'll do, after you experience those 15 games, how about going with these 15 now? Yeah, maybe.
Now, I will say for anybody who does get upset over omissions, and just know that we did omit those. We did not include Sonic Adventure 2 specifically to spite you. just because. I mean, sorry,
because it sucks. Yeah.
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 Well, and also there's an element here where there's a lot of games that maybe play better on other systems. Like for example, Trick Style, you can buy that on Steam, and it is a very nice like version on PC. I think Steam Deck has some sound issues still, but like there's some games that you theoretically could play on modern consoles that I might not, like practically speaking, may not recommend it as like your first purchase on Dreamcast if you can get it another way cheaper and play it like a more definitive version, I guess.
And just to help people like be at peace with that, our number 16 barely made it Sonic Shuffle, so don't worry. We thought about Sonic Shuffle. It's just like barely made the cut. We could only pick 15.
Here, if my fiance Katie was here, she would absolutely have picked that. That was a mainstay for her and her sisters growing up. And we actually did talk. I think Lewis, it was last year, one of the episodes that she was on it. Our friend Derek from Stop Skeletons from Fighting was on it, and we talked quite a bit about that game actually, because that was a formative Dreamcast game.
I do remember that. Yeah. I should actually. There's a way of playing it like. Not even with the Dreamcast, there are ways to play like online on a browser. So
really?
I think so. I was actually looking it with like a few months ago. Never really did anything with that, but should experience that online somehow.
I guess Phantasy Star Online's kind of like that with like Blue Burst, right? You can just play it for free. And it's, there's a few different servers, right? But like, or a couple at least. That's like. I don't know. There's ways to access these games.
And also, like I think we mentioned this before, but like try to get your Dreamcast online as well if you're getting it in 2025. Which is, I mean, we're talking about this like, oh, you just got a Dreamcast in 2025. Okay, what should you play now, or what should you play first? We didn't really take this too seriously. We did in a way, but also. As we do on this show, it's like we also took it like in a bit tongue-in-cheek way. But if you're really getting a system like a console, a Dreamcast console in 2025, do try to get it online and try to experience these games online. There's a big community of people getting into that, so definitely a good way to do and that.
Also, I was going to add, just also get a GDEMU or a mode, which allows you basically you swap the disk drive out for the disk drive is probably one of the kind of iffy bits of the console that unfortunately fails and has issues. So people swap that out for a little device that allows you to play games off an SD card. And, you know, a lot of these games we've talked about today, like the fan translations, they're so much easier to access if you do that. Otherwise, you can pay some geezer on Etsy to like print you out a rubbish copy of one, or you can burn one yourself. But, you know, just get a GDMU. It's definitely worth the pretty low price tag as well. So
okay, so guys, thank you very much for joining me for this Dreamcast starter pack. We'll see what happens next year. We'll do maybe the sequel, the intermediate pack. I don't know. So feel free now to tell people how they can find you online. So let's start with Brian. Plug away anything you're working on or not.
I guess I've been doing a little more blogging on like my personal blog, thevirtuaplanet.com. I did a few things this summer, but I don't usually update that very often, but I felt compelled to talk a bit about Ridge Racer and actually Pikmin Bloom, which was a Niantic kind of Pokemon Go style game. Those I had a lot of fun writing. And then I am on Blue Sky at Jet Brian Radio. That's about it. I don't really check social media in general that often. So other than maybe like my fantasy football leagues or something. That's most of my time online these days.
Okay, great. We also have Lewis. Where can people find you?
Hi, yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter as well, and my handle is @LewisJFC. And yeah, me and Brian, we are part of the Dreamcast Junkyard, which is www.thedreamcastjunkyard.co.uk. And we're on all the social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Discord, we're on everything. You can find us. We're not on Instagram or TikTok, but yeah, we're on everything
not
else.
Everything then.
Yeah, I lied. We're on all the good places. Well, Facebook and Twitter
and some
really
bad
great.
ones. We're on some really crappy ones too. Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a podcast.
There's a podcast. I was going to say
podcast.
that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a podcast called The Dream Pod, which we obviously recommend you check out. And the website is 20 years old in December, so we will definitely be doing a few cool things to celebrate. So yeah, hold that thought, or what am I trying to say? My brain's
Your
melting.
Beer?
Yeah, hold my beer. Yeah, watch this space.
Exactly. Please be excited.
Yeah,
please be excited for whatever it is you guys are cooking. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, very good. And as for myself, just find the SEGA Lounge on mostly Blue Sky. We're also on Twitter as well, but I'm not really doing much in terms of like social media-ing, other than promoting episodes and retweeting or reposting things that I find interesting, including Dreamcast Junkyard posts and podcast episodes, for example. But do find us there. And obviously, if you're listening to the audio version, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel for not just the video versions where you can see our beautiful faces, but also like some cool footage of the games we mentioned on this episode, and for our 30 seconds of Sega education videos we put out every couple of, like, once a week, twice a week sometimes. It depends. Do check those out. Those are fun as well. Other than that, we'll be back next time with another episode. When this airs, I'll probably be on vacation, probably playing Blue Stinger to see if I really am worthy of this hidden gem, Dreamcast hidden gem, or not, or if I suck. Probably somewhere in between lies the answer. And I'll talk about Blue Stinger when I come back in the future episode of the show. But do check us out when we come back, probably next week, with more Sega Lounge goodness. Until then, take care. Bye. The Sega Lounge, hosted by me, KC, a Mixout Productions podcast and part of Radio Sega's network of live shows and podcasts. Theme song and incidental music by OSC. Got any suggestions? Drop me an email to podcast@thesegalounge.com. Find us at thesegalounge.com on Blue Sky. Check out our YouTube channel for our video content and follow us on Twitch to join our Let's Play sessions and live episodes. You can find previous episodes of the show by going to thesegalounge.com, on the TerraPlayer app, and wherever you listen to podcasts.